In the depths of history, where heaven meets earth in the Fertile Crescent, a great god was born. He was not merely a stone statue or a name whispered in dark temples, but Baal, the Lord, the Master, the Rider of Clouds. In the ancient Canaanite cities of Tyre, Sidon, and Ugarit, his name was whispered with the winds and shouted with the thunder. Baal was a divine warrior in Canaanite mythology, depicted in carvings holding a mace in one hand and a lightning bolt in the other. His head was crowned with bull horns, symbols of raw power and fertility. His eyes gleamed with heavenly fire, and his voice was the roar of thunder that shattered the silence of night. He was tall and broad-shouldered, wearing royal garments embroidered with gold thread and deep blue like the storm-laden sky. In the myths carved on clay tablets in Ugarit, the greatest epic of Baal is told, his eternal struggle against Yam, the god of sea and primordial chaos, and Mot, the god of death and the underworld. These were not mere battles but a cosmic dance between order and chaos, life and death, fertility and drought. When Baal triumphed, the heavens rained and the fields turned green. When he was defeated and dragged to the underworld by Mot, the earth dried and crops withered. Then came his sister and consort Anat, goddess of war and love, searching for him in the depths of death, fighting to bring him back, and life would return once more to the earth. In the heart of the Beqar Valley in Lebanon, at the foot of the eastern Lebanon mountains, stand the temples of Baalbek, the greatest architectural testimony to the worship of Baal. The place known in Roman times as Heliopolis, City of the Sun, was originally a Phoenician sanctuary dedicated to Baal. The temple stands on a massive stone platform raised 7 meters above the ground, built from stones each weighing approximately 300 tons. The most famous are the 3 stones, known as the trilithon, each measuring 19 meters in length and 4.3 meters in height, weighing over 800 tons. To this day, scholars stand amazed at how these colossal stone blocks were transported and lifted. The temple contained 54 massive Corinthian columns, each column reaching 19.9 meters in height and 2.5 meters in diameter, the tallest in the ancient classical world. Today, only 6 columns remain standing on the southern side, their capitals nearly perfect, witnessing to the greatness of what once was. The temple was rectangular with an area of 88 by 44 meters, and the porch ceiling was estimated to have reached 44 meters above the courtyard floor. Beside the Jupiter temple stands the Temple of Bacchus, considered one of the best preserved Roman temples in the world. Its dimensions are 66 by 35 meters with a height of 31 meters, making it larger than the Parthenon in Athens. It is surrounded by 42 unfluted Corinthian columns, 19 of which still stand, reaching 19 meters high. The columns support a richly carved frieze with alternating bulls and lions. Inside the temple, the walls are adorned with half-Corinthian columns surrounding 2 levels of niches on each side, containing scenes from the birth and life of Bacchus. The massive portal is carved with Bacchic motifs, grape clusters, wine deities, celebratory scenes. The interior contained an elevated sanctuary standing above 13 steps, where the golden statue of the god rested, surrounded by incense and offerings. The third temple is the Temple of Venus, a relatively small but original and intricately designed circular temple. It had a circular structure surrounded by a circle of columns and niches containing statues on the outside. This temple was dedicated to the worship of fertility and love. The temple teemed with life during seasonal celebrations. Hundreds of priests wore white robes embroidered with gold, carrying scepters and incense. The celebrations included the slaughter of bulls, the sacred animal of Baal, on massive stone altars, burning incense in vast quantities until smoke filled the courtyard, loud music including drums, horns, cymbals, and lyres, ritual dances around the columns and altars, and ritual sexual practices with the consecrated priests and priestesses dedicated to the temple. Worshippers would climb the massive stairs to the sacred courtyard, carrying their offerings. 200 columns of pink granite brought from Aswan in Egypt, over 1,100 kilometers away, surrounded the courtyards, each column 7.5 meters tall and 1 meter in diameter. In Tyre, Sidon, Byblos, and Ugarit, there were other massive temples to Baal, most of which were destroyed or buried under layers of successive civilizations. In Ugarit, modern-day Ras Shamra in Syria, the remains of the Temple of Baal were discovered, containing a vast library of clay tablets that preserved his myths and rituals. With the spread of monotheism and the fall of pagan civilizations, the great transformation began. The god became a demon. In the Middle Ages and Renaissance, books of magic and demons called grimoires appeared, classifying Baal in a completely different way. In the famous Goetic list, Baal, or Baal, is the first spirit among 72 demons, a position that is not random but either one of honor or danger. He holds the rank of King of Hell, ruler of the East, the direction of sunrise, and commands 66 legions of demons, or in some texts 250 legions. Baal is described as appearing in multiple forms. The most famous is the triple-headed form, a cat's head with glowing green eyes and sharp fangs, a frog's head with ulcerated green skin and a long tongue, and human head, bearded with dead eyes and a cold expression. The 3 heads sprout from a giant spider body with 8 hairy legs. In another form, he appears as a tall man wearing a golden crown stained with blood, his eyes empty like black voids, his voice hoarse yet clear and articulate. In animal form, he appears as a massive black cat the size of a lion, a giant frog with a crowned head, or a mixture of forms. His demonic powers and abilities include invisibility and concealment, his most famous power being making the summoner invisible by wrapping the sorcerer in black fog or distorting others' perception of him. He possesses wisdom and deception, teaching cunning and guile, revealing hidden secrets, and making men clever in trickery. He can manipulate perceptions, changing the summoner's appearance in others' eyes, making him appear trustworthy or frightening as needed. As a king, he controls 66 legions, approximately 6,600 lesser demons, who can be summoned to execute his commands. In the famous French demonic dictionary Dictionnaire Infernal from 1818, Baal is depicted somewhat differently, sometimes appearing as a soldier wearing crimson-red uniform, riding a blood-red horse, in other forms appearing as a king wearing a black cloak with golden stars, his 3 heads sometimes replaced with a giant spider head instead of the frog. Each demon in the Goetic list has a special seal, a magical symbol used to summon him. Baal's seal consists of an outer circle containing an interlocking triangle, Hebrew or Latin mysterious symbols written around the edges, and in the center a crown-like symbol above intersecting lines. The sorcerer would draw the seal on parchment made from black goat skin with ink made from blood mixed with mercury and honey, then wear it as a protective amulet during the summoning. In the New Testament and Christian traditions, the name Baal evolved into Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, or Beelzebul, the Prince Lord. He became the Prince of Demons or Satan himself, Satan's first lieutenant in hell, responsible for tempting humans with arrogance and pride. In John Milton's Paradise Lost from 1667, Beelzebub is portrayed as one of the greatest fallen angels who gather around Satan after being cast out of heaven. The basic symbols associated with Baal include the bull, the strongest and oldest symbol representing power, fertility, and masculinity. Today it is used as a symbol for the stock market and wealth, the bull market. The golden calf at Sinai was most likely a representation of Baal. Lightning and thunderbolts were depicted as Baal's staff that discharged lightning, a symbol of divine power and control over weather. Clouds gave Baal his famous title, Rider of Clouds, symbolizing control over rain and fertility. Horns, 2 horns on the head, symbolized power and divinity, and were transferred to the traditional image of Satan. The Asherah pole was a tall wooden pole, a phallic symbol erected beside Baal's altars, representing sexual union between Baal and Asherah. In modern conspiracy theories and esoteric interpretations, it is claimed that Baal is worshipped today through obelisks, considered phallic symbols like the Asherah pole, the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, claimed by some to be built on an ancient Baal worship site though there is no historical evidence, bull statues in front of banks and stock exchanges, and the owl a Bohemian grove, which some link to Moloch or Baal. There is no organized modern worship of Baal in the literal sense. The real temples have been abandoned for centuries. However, there are several groups. Some practitioners of occultism and ceremonial magic use goetic rituals to summon Baal. These include chaos magicians, practitioners of Luciferianism who see demons as symbols or natural forces, and theistic Satanists who believe in demons as real entities. Their alleged rituals include drawing a magic circle on the ground, a summoning triangle outside the circle to contain the demon, burning special incense such as frankincense, myrrh, and sulfur, chanting incantations in Hebrew or Latin, and wearing ceremonial black or red robes with mysterious symbols. It is important to note that most of these practices are fictional or theatrical rather than real. The vast majority of modern practitioners view these entities as psychological symbols rather than literal beings. Some neo-pagan groups attempt to revive pre-Christian religions, including Canaanite Reconstructionism, a very small group trying to rebuild Canaanite religion, goddess worship, which may include Astarte or Anat, Baal's consort, and most are harmless seasonal celebrations honoring nature. Some conservative evangelical Christians see modern Baal worship in abortion, considered modern child sacrifice, sexual practices outside marriage, materialism and consumption as worship of wealth as a god, LGBTQ movements as a form of ritual sexual immorality, and celebration of nature and environmentalism as worship of creation instead of the creator. It should be noted that these are metaphorical or symbolic interpretations, not literal worship of Baal. They are theological criticisms of contemporary cultural trends. The Burning Man festival in Nevada is sometimes mentioned, with 70,000 participants annually containing diverse spiritual practices including Wicca, earth worship, and meditation, nudity, music, and all-night dancing, and on the final day burning a giant wooden statue symbolically. Some link this to Baal's fire rituals, but the festival is secular and spiritually diverse, not dedicated to Baal. Unproven conspiracy theories claim that global elites or the Illuminati secretly worship Baal, linking him to Jeffrey Epstein and alleged satanic networks, and secret buildings and rituals that have not been revealed. These are claims unsupported by concrete evidence and are classified as conspiracy theories. The temples of Baalbek today are a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1984, a tourist destination visited by thousands of tourists annually. The venue for the Baalbek International Festival during summer with musical and dramatic performances unrelated to worship, managed by the Lebanese Ministry of Culture, and protected and preserved as a historical monument. No religious worship has been practiced there for centuries. The place is sacred historically but not religiously today. Baal's journey through thousands of years reveals a complex dynamic between religions and cultures. From a respected Canaanite god from 2000 to 500 BCE, the rider of clouds and giver of fertility, to an enemy of monotheism from 500 BCE to 600 CE, a false god and rival to Yahweh or Allah, to a Christian demon from 600 to 1600 CE, a prince of hell and king of demons, to a cultural symbol from 1600 to the present, a metaphor for materialism, corruption, or paganism. His great stone temples remain silent witnesses to a bygone era, where thousands gathered in the shadow of their towering columns, offering sacrifices, dancing, and pleading for rain and fertility. Today, those temples are visited ruins, but the idea lives on, whether as a symbol of evil in religious discourse, as an entity in marginal esoteric practices, or simply as a fascinating chapter in humanity's religious history. Baal is no longer a worshipped god, but he has become a mirror in which we see how beliefs transform across time, and how one civilization's god becomes another civilization's demon.